In this video, we're going to learn how to create this amazing advertising design from scratch. Retouching, compositing, coloring, lighting, shadowing, everything will be explained in detail. So without any further ado, let's dig into business. Now let's go. Okay guys, as usual, I want to start with giving you a quick brief and idea behind creating this design. So this is an Egyptian sparkling drink and it's a combination between the lemon and the lime. So the main message I want to deliver is that this drink can make you super fresh, and you can find this in these water splashes, water droplets, and I combined the lemon parts with the lime using also the brand colors. That's it. I want to just show you something. This is the picture that I'm going to use. It's a mobile phone picture. It's not professional at all. The resolution is not the best. The lighting is super bad. And I bet this picture is taken with a phone. So it needed a lot of retouching. And this is the final result that I got. Okay, how did we do this? That's what we are going to start with. So let's start with creating a new project. I'll just keep it for 1000 to have complete freedom and 16-bit coloring, and then press create. So let's start with the product image, this one, and you can find all the images that I'm going to use in the link in the description. And firstly, we want to make some adjustments in coloring and contrast into this image. So let's start by creating a camera raw filter. From filter, go to camera raw filter, and now the main thing that I am going to do is to increase the contrast, trying to give it some form by increasing the highlights a little bit, decreasing the shadows to remove these noise, and then let's go to texture, add a little bit of texture, some clarity would help, and let's jump straight into the detailing. Increase the sharpening, and let's zoom in, decrease the noise from noise reduction, and let's see, this is very good. Maybe we need to increase the exposure a little bit. Perfect. Now let's press OK. Here is before and here is after. Next, we are going to remove this annoying strip using the clone stamp tool. Of course, this is a time-consuming process, so I'm going to speed it up. So let's just bring the clone stamp, pick a source from the surrounding, and just paint over these areas. Let's make the soft rounded brush, and let's just paint over these areas. That's very nice. So let's see, here is before and here is after. Next, I want to show you a very important concept. Let's just create a solid color adjustment layer with a gray color, and let's create like a cylinder, something like this. Now, our main image is flat, it doesn't have form. So what if we want to give it form? Simply, we will paint light and shadow. How can we do this? Is by simply, for example, bringing this brush and painting some light over this area, some light over this area, and some shadows here. So it's now more rounded. What if we want to make it rounded more? We will add different levels of light. So we will bring the brush again and paint some lights over here, some lights over here, and maybe some softer lights over the middle, something like this. Now it looks more like a cylinder. What if we want to boost it more? We will add different levels of shadows. So let's create some levels of shadows here, and some final rim lights over the edges. And that is exactly what we are going to make. So this is now looks like more of a cylinder than this. And that is exactly what we're going to do in this flat picture. So let's start. Let's create a solid color adjustment layer, and let's make its color something like this. We will change it later. Press OK. And this layer will be for shadows. So let's change its blending mode into multiply. Of course, you know it if you are following my channel. So let's press Ctrl I to invert the mask. And I don't like this white color in the background. So let's just bring another solid color into the background. Very nice. Now let's paint the shadows over the bottle. As I've shown you in this image, the light will be coming from the back, so it will be backlit. So we will have some rim lights over here and some just touches of light into the front. That's it. So let's start by the shadows. I will bring the soft rounded brush. Let's make it a little bit bigger and let's paint the overall shadows. So with the soft rounded brush, I'll press one touch over here and press shift and press into this area. Very nice. So this is now dark. Let's make another one here. Press shift, press one touch and press shift and press into this area, and maybe one global one into the middle but with lower flow, something like this. And let's give it a touch and another touch right here. Very nice. Now it looks dark, but the main reason I started with shadows is that you cannot show light if the object itself is not darkened. Okay, so if I want to show light, I should start by darkening the object itself. So this is the first step. Secondly, let's bring another solid color adjustment layer, and this time will be in white, complete white. Press OK, create a clipping mask, and press Ctrl I to invert the mask. And then let's start by painting the lights. Let's start by the main shining part in the middle. So let's give it a touch with high flow. Let's give it one touch here and another one right here. This is too much, of course, but we will enhance it later. Let's firstly change this brush blending mode into screen. Very nice. Now let's make the brush smaller and let's decrease the flow of the brush, something like this. Let's give it a touch here, another touch right here, pressing shift, and then let's give it another one here and another one here, pressing shift. Okay, that is not bad. And let's draw the rim lights into the edges. So let's make the brush very small and let's just give it a touch here and shift and another touch here. The same thing into the other edge, but this time I will increase the flow of the brush. Let's just give it one here, another one here, one here, and another one right here, pressing shift. And of course, I don't want the effect to affect into these top parts. So let's just remove the effect using the brush as well from these top sections. Something like this, and let's remove it from here as well. And let's see. That is not bad. Let's just make this color darker and more saturated, the color of the shadows. And let's just erase some edges from these highlights. So with the soft rounded brush, let's make it very big and let's erase some parts. I feel like we need to decrease the intensity of this middle part, so let's just bring the flow down and press one touch and shift and press into this. Very nice. Now let's bring the brightness of this bottom part down. So let's just create a curves adjustment layer and let's just decrease the brightness, create a clipping mask of course, and using the brush we will make this dark as well. Increase the flow and let's just make this dark. That's very nice. We can also increase the intensity of the shadow using this curves adjustment layer as well. So let's just press one touch here and another one to the top, another one to the left. That's cool. We can also create another curves adjustment layer and then increase the overall contrast of the bottle, something like this. So let's see, here is before and here is after. Now we have a 3D product. That's very nice. Let's bring all these layers into a group and let's name it bottle. But before we go to the next point, let's hear a quick message from today's sponsor, Filmora from Wondershare. Do you want to reach a global audience? With Filmora, you can easily translate your videos, adding multiple language subtitles, break language barriers, and connect with viewers worldwide. Just click into this button and let the AI translate your videos. Let's see a quick example.
But wait, something is missing. Your videos isn't getting the views it deserves.
لكن انتظر، هناك شيء مفقود. لم يحصل الفيديو الخاص بك على المشاهدة التي يستحقها.
But that is not all. They have taken the AI feature to the next level. With their speech-to-text feature, you can now directly transcribe bilingual subtitles. Click into speech-to-text feature, adjust the text properties, and boom, you are done. Let's see a quick example.
Your heart and soul into creating the most incredible video ever.
It's never been easier to create accessible and inclusive content. Now, we all know how important the music and sound effects for setting the right mode of your videos. With Filmora AI music generator, you can generate the right music using AI and can choose from a wide range of music. Just click into this AI music generator button and choose from music themes to genres and tempos. Let's see a quick example. Now you have complete control over the rhythm of your videos. But here is the best part. The music generated by Filmora's AI music generator is commercially available. That means that you can use it in your monetized content without any worries. Don't miss the chance. Click the link in the description below to get started. Elevate your videos with Filmora and let the creativity soar. Next, let's bring this image of this hand, and I will just hide this bottle for a moment, and let's extract it from the background. The easiest way to do this is by simply selecting it using the Select Subject tool, using Adobe AI, of course. So let's select this subject and this one as well, and then let's press into this mask button to create a mask. Press Ctrl T and let's rotate it to give us the motion and the effect that we want. The main thing I'm considering now is to put the bottle into the center of the design. So let's just press Ctrl T, rotate the bottle, and let's try to put it into the center at first, and then we can adapt the hand accordingly. So let's just make it a little bit smaller. Maybe something like this. That's good, and we can clone stamp this part of the lemon, creating a new layer, and using the clone stamp tool, I'll just pick a source from here, and let's just use the solid rounded brush to create this lemon part out. Something like this to expand the lemon. That is very nice. Now let's erase this part of the bottle, creating a mask, and we can erase it using different tools. Maybe the pen tool is the best for this. So let's just select it using the pen tool. So I'll put a point right here, another one here, and let's just put another one right here. And then pressing Ctrl Enter to make it a selection, and then press Ctrl Backspace to fill it with the background color. Maybe we should shift the selection a little bit to the top. So I'll just unlink it from here and we'll select the mask and just shift the mask a little bit to the top. That's very nice. Now let's bring the next element, which will be this slime twist. And I will try to match the shape of this slime into the bottle. So let's firstly flip it horizontally, and let's put it right here. Just rotate it a little bit and then press OK. And using the mask, we can now erase some parts using the hard rounded brush. So let's just erase this, press one point and press shift and press into this part, and then press shift into and press into this part. I'm just using the brush to remove these parts. Press one touch here, press shift and press into here, another touch here, and another one here. And be careful into this part because I want this lime to follow the shape of the bottle, to be rounded like it. So let's just make the brush smaller, and I'll just press one touch here, something maybe like this, and that's very nice. Let's bring another copy by pressing Ctrl J, and let's just remove this mask, and let's put this part over here. And let's create another mask, and using the brush, let's do the same thing. I'll just erase everything other than the top part. Now let's care about the background. So I will create another solid color adjustment layer, and this time I will choose a very bright saturated orange, green, yellowish color, something like this, and press OK, and press Ctrl I to invert the mask, and using the soft rounded brush, I will just make the brush very big and give it a touch to create that backlight effect. So let's just give it one touch like this. And next we can bring this element, which I think bring the eye toward the center of the design. So let's just make it bigger This is just making you look into the center. It's pointing towards the main focal point, which is the product. And of course, we will change the blending mode of this into maybe overlay or soft light, I guess overlay. And then let's bring the opacity way down. So something like this. And then create a mask, and using the brush, the soft-rounded brush, I can fade the edges like this. So I'm just bringing the attention toward the center of the design, and that's it. And we can also boost the backlight up by duplicating this backlight layer, pressing Ctrl J, and change this color into white. And press Ctrl T, and let's make this small. So what I'm trying to do now is to create a central point of light, which will be very bright white color, and then the next spot of light, which will be bright green. Maybe we can make this more yellowish, something like this, and then press OK. Now all the elements are in its possession. So what we're going to do next is to paint light and shadow and to add the special effects. So let's start with the lemon parts at the top. I will start by changing the color of this lemon to make it like more of a greenish color. So I will use for this hue saturation adjustment layer, clip it to the layer, and let's just colorize it and give it some greenish yellowish color. Increase the saturation, make it more yellowish, and maybe we can make it a little bit darker. Something like this would work. Let's just remove some green color from the highlights. I will just double click into the layer, and using the blend F, I will remove the green color from the highlights. So this, just press Alt to split this cursor, and let's try to remove it from some parts. It's nice. Let's see. Here's before, here's after blend F, and after. And this is before the hue saturation. Now let's paint the light and shadow. I will start by creating curves adjustment layer, and let's make it dark like this. Maybe let's darken it from here, something like this. Create a clipping mask, and then press Ctrl I to invert the mask. And let's paint the shadows into the areas that should not have light. So for example, here this area should be in shadows, but this edge will be lit because the backlight will have some lights on it. And of course we should have some shadows over here and some shadows into this bottom part, and at the same time we should have the contact shadow between this lemon part and the bottle or the can. So let's start. I will start by painting the shadow using the hard rounded brush because this area should be in complete shadows, something like this. And then maybe we can use the pen tool to select this area because this is an edge, of course, and let's just select the rest of the image. Press Ctrl Enter, and using the soft rounded brush at this time, let's just decrease the flow, and let's try to paint some shadows over this area, and it will gradually be faded. So something like this will work. Let's just zoom out and try to make it subtle. Okay, whenever you're painting light and shadow, just zoom out and try to fade the edges or blend it in a nice way. So let's see, that is not bad at all. That's very nice. So let's do the same thing to this bottom layer. I'll just bring this hue saturation and curves adjustment layers and just duplicating them, put them here, create a clipping mask by pressing Alt and pressing between the two layers, and just remove the effect from the curves adjustment layer. And now we can paint the shadows. At this time, the bottom part should be in shadow here. So let's just paint it quickly. Okay, now we should paint the shadows over the bottle itself. So let's bring the bottle group, and at this time I will paint the shadow using a solid color adjustment layer. So let's just bring any color and create a clipping mask, and let's pick this dark color from the bottle itself, and let's just change its blending mode into maybe multiply, and press Ctrl I to invert the mask. And we will paint two parts of the shadow. We will start by the contact shadow, which is the shadow that is resulting from the contact between two surfaces, which is this surface of the bottle and the surface of the lemon. So let's just make the brush small, and let's paint over this area something like this. And of course this area should not be in shadow because the light is coming from the background, so let's just erase it, something like this. And let's do the same thing in these areas. So this is nice. Maybe we can fade it in some areas here, for example, and that's very nice. Now let's bring the brush a little bit bigger and decrease the flow, and let's paint the cast shadow, which will be smoother, softer shadows, something like this. Maybe we can fade it from here. That's very nice. That's very nice. Now let's do the same thing into the lemon itself. Using another curves adjustment layer, I will make it dark like this and press Ctrl I, and let's just paint some contact shadow over here. That's very nice. Let's do the same thing into this bottom part. That's very nice. We forgot something, this slime part in the hand of this man. So let's just bring the hue saturation layer and bring another copy, pressing Alt and dragging it and putting it into the hand of the man. Of course, we'll not keep it like this. So let's just remove it from some part. So press Ctrl I to invert the mask, and using the hard rounded brush, I'll just paint over this line part. And don't forget to create a clipping mask. But before we create a clipping mask, let's just put these two layers into a smart object. So right click, convert it into a smart object, and then create a clipping mask. And using the brush, let's just paint over the lemon area. That's very nice. Let's see. That's not bad. Let's paint some shadows over this part. So I'll do this, creating curves adjustment layer, and let's increase its darkness as well as the contrast, something like this, and then create a clipping mask. Press Ctrl I to invert the mask, and let's paint some shadows. Using the soft rounded brush, I will keep the flow at 20% or something, and let's make the brush bigger, and let's paint the shadows over these areas. But now, as you can see, the hand of the man needs some retouching and some color adjustment. So let's start editing the color of this hand by firstly increasing its contrast, creating a new curves adjustment layer. So let's just make it a little bit darker, something like this. And then let's bring another maybe selective color adjustment layer from here, and let's manipulate the colors of the hand. So let's go to the whites. Let's just add some reds, some greens, and maybe some yellows. And then let's go to the blending mode and change the blending mode into color. Just change the colors of the hand, not the lightness values. So let's see, here is before and here is after. Of course, we need to remove the effect from the lemon part. So let's just bring this mask to the top. I'll just press Alt and drag this mask to the selective color adjustment layer. Press yes, and then press Ctrl I to invert the mask because it was applied into the lemon itself. So let's see before, after, subtle color change in the hand, but it looks nice. Now we can create another curves adjustment layer to give the hand more 3D look. So let's just increase the contrast like this and then press Ctrl I, and using the soft rounded brush I will just paint some shadows over the shadow areas. And then create a curves adjustment layer and make it bright. Flip it to the layer, press Ctrl I, and now let's paint some highlights. So we should have some highlights over here. Now that is very nice. So let's see before dodging and burning. The hand is flat, and after it is more 3D and it has more form. And let's see before any effects. Here's before and here's after. That's very nice. We need to have some highlights to this line part. So let's just do the same thing using the curves. Let's go to curves, increase the brightness, and then press Ctrl I, and using the soft rounded brush I'll just paint highlights over the edges. Very cool. Now let's bring the next element, which will be this lemon pieces. I will just use it to make like scattered pieces around the bottle and to give it some motion. So let's just select this part using the object selection tool, and I will simply press Ctrl J to make it into another layer, and right click, convert it into a smart object, because I don't want to lose its quality when making it smaller and bigger. Now, how can I add the motion effect? Ctrl J to make a duplicate of it. And then let's go to the bottom one. Let's go to filter, blur gallery, and path blur. With this blur, I can select the direction in which the lemon piece will look like it's moving into this direction. So I will just remove this center blur effect, and we will increase the speed from here. So something like this, and let's just increase this taper effect and then press OK. That's very nice. It should be to the opposite direction, so let's just rotate it something like this. And that's very nice. So let's just duplicate this group. Let's name this one, and let's just duplicate it to make several copies. Press Ctrl J, and let's put this one here. Press Ctrl T, let's make it a little bit smaller, so something like this. So that's very nice. The next element will be these water splashes, because I want to give it some freshness. So let's just put it behind everything, and I will change its color by simply pressing Ctrl U, remove the color, and then increase the lightness, something like this. So this is very cool. I wanted to follow the rhythm or the rotation of the other elements, and maybe we can duplicate this splash and put it into one of these lemons. So let's just put it at the top, maybe flip it vertical, yeah, and let's add another one. So that is okay for now. That's very nice. Do you remember this project? If you don't know, if you didn't watch it, you will find its link in the description. You're missing a lot of things. At this one, I've told you how to create these water droplets effects, so I will just simply bring them and put it into our main project. But if you want to know how to create them from scratch, you will find it into the project itself. So I'll just put this group above everything, maybe somewhere here, and press Ctrl T. I'll just create a mask and press Ctrl I to invert the mask, and using the solid rounded brush I will just paint over some areas because I want to add some droplets but not too much. Let's see, here is before and here is after. It adds some little touch of freshness. Now the next thing, I'm going to create like a glow effect. So for this I will just make a new layer, pick some green color, but at this time I want to make it like very bright, something like this, and more yellowish, maybe something like this. And then make the brush bigger and just give it one touch like this. And let's just bring the white and give it into the center. I will just give it one other touch like this. So what I'm making is a glow effect and a white color into the center, and then change this blending mode into screen. It's very nice. Let's bring it right here. That's awesome. Looks very nice. Press Ctrl T and maybe make it bigger, and let's just give it another one into the other direction, something like this. Maybe we can make it taller or something, stretched like this. So let's see. Yeah, I guess this is better, but maybe this is too much, so let's just decrease the opacity. Finally, we will create a vignetting effect using a curves adjustment layer, and let's make everything dark like this, and press Ctrl I to invert the mask. Using the soft rounded brush, I'll just paint with a low flow. I'll just paint over the edges, something like this, to bring the focus towards more the center of the design, something like this. And we can of course decrease its opacity. Yeah, here is the final results. Here is before and here is after. If you're interested in creating amazing visuals like these step by step, I have good news for you, because my premium course, The Ultimate Guide to Photo Manipulation, is now released, and you can find it in the link in the description. In this course, you will find 11 fully narrated in English projects in which I'm teaching you how to create composites like these, how to adjust light and shadow, playing around with color, and all the techniques that you need to know to make amazing photo manipulations. You will find also all the stock images used, the PSD files, and all the brushes used. The link in the description. If you're following me up to this point, then congratulations. You have the patience to follow all these steps. So as I'm always saying, if you want to improve your skills, you need to practice these projects, but with your own images, with your own ideas. So just learn the techniques from here and apply it into your projects. And yeah, if you like the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to get notified about the future content. See you guys in the next videos. Peace.